Bonsoir, poor fractured and shattered soul, the bearer of the weights of the world, and upon that, a bass guitar. I'm Meri of the darkness, and I'm here to take your bass guitar playing to the next, equally unremarkable level of bass guitar playing. No, you won't get that good. Just lower your expectations. Anyways, I've had experience with bass guitars in my previous band, which went by the name of Meri of the Darkness. Notably, I stood many times in close proximity to them. By this point, I'm meant to presume that you've already figured out how to somewhat pluck at the strings and vaguely create notes and rhythms. If you have not, that's fine. I didn't expect you to anyway. So here's the quick, unnecessary rundown. This is a bass guitar. You pluck at the strings with your right hand. With your other hand, you press down the strings to make notes. It's hard, but so is existence. Now we start working on more advanced concepts. Firstly, we shall work on the concept of keeping time. This requires an understanding of time. Something as humans we are destined to never properly perceive. So we are doomed from the outset. Time can be sliced like our hopes and dreams on a daily basis by the crushing weight of our underwhelming reality. Time can be sliced into equal or unequal parts. Correctly keeping time means keeping the slices equal. This may be too conceptual for you at this point in your disdainful musical journey, my sorrowful companion. However, it's apparently important to be aware of. If you do not keep time, you see, you lose it. Never mind, we all lose everything in the end. This is a metronome. An echo chamber of clicking sounds that forever presses onwards in a hopeless journey to nowhere. It can be used as an annoying reference as to what is considered in time. How one may ever find themselves within the concept of time, falling within its grasps and wrapped within its realms, I do not know. But I digress. It is often considered good practice for an aspiring bass player to entertain the delusion of one day becoming somewhat decent at their instrument by playing along with this thing. Sometimes I just listen to it for hours as I stare into space. The idea, ironically, is that you should be so very in time with the clicks that you don't hear them at all. Of course, this may not indicate that you're proficient. It is best to assume the device was never turned on, ran out of battery, or simply malfunctioned and needs to be returned. The next concept is a concept you've likely been practicing unknowingly for all of your regret-filled existence. Repetition. Just like how every day of your poor forgettable life bleeds through the same movements and series of events, music reflects this miserable reality through its rhythms, melodies, and harmonic movements. To repeat something, do it once, and then do it again, then again, then again, pretty much the same way. If both the rhythm and the tone of what you're repeating is the same, some bass players call this a groove. I call it an endless loop of hopeless entrapment. Let me demonstrate. Doesn't it feel like an endless loop? Doesn't it feel hopeless? Most of all, doesn't it feel entrapment? Although you can simply play a groove, you can also feel it. Contrary to popular opinion and the actual definition of the word, feeling the groove does not actually involve feeling anything in a physical sense, which is lucky, because I don't feel anything in any sense. Feeling the groove means sitting in the beat rather than on the beat, kind of like sitting in a beanbag rather than on a bench, all alone. I tend to sit alone on benches. It also means making the music flow through tiny imperfections. It's easier to listen to something that's flawed because we can relate to it better. Some people are naturally gifted with what is loosely referred to as feel. Don't worry if you're not gifted. Most of us are not gifted. Just cursed to live out the rest of our lives in the shadows. You get used to it after a while. The final advanced concept that we will cover is practice. Theoretically, if the possibility of you getting good at your instrument even exists, you need a practice to get there. Practice essentially means playing your bass guitar for long periods of time and focusing on the things you suck at, which at this point, and likely for many decades, will be everything. Yay for variety. Whoa. If you're enjoying yourself, you're likely practicing incorrectly. You're likely playing things you've already mastered and thus simply wasting your time. So always ensure you're suffering during your bass practice sessions. The road to success is always paved with pain and always ends in disappointment. Except for him. Man, I hate that guy. So anyway, I hope that you've been inspired to take your bass playing to the next level and that my tips helped you. If not, oh well. That is all. Goodbye.